Welcome back to another video. Another one where we just gonna get some stories, right? There's some pineapple, mint, beet, and ginger, and lemon, and turmeric. Okay. I have some crystals right here to help me. Okay, so another story about my experiences with energies and how humans have different levels to them and consciousness and the way they move, like program compared to like, heart-based humans and like programmable humans, and just my story. So what happened like in my life according to me, right? Okay. Okay, so I'll share a story about one of my I thought was like one of my best friends for like a long time. But nah. Okay. Okay, so, and this is hopefully you'll this is entertainment and all that, and personal healing and diaries and all that. But also it's like, so you can see maybe like the situations around you, and maybe not like no judgment or anything like that, but just notice truth, love, and sovereignty around you, and what is the light and what is not, and notice patterns, hopefully, so you can get yourself out quicker than I had to. But I wasn't, like, I had nobody. But anyways, okay, so when I guess I'll start with I had got, okay, I don't think we were married yet. I'm not sure. No, we were. No, I don't know. Okay, so I got with this person because I was from a abusive family, so I got into an abusive relationship, felt really comfortable, right? And then, we had a baby, right? And then his sister was my best friend, like I thought. But also, like, be patient too with me, because like I'm like very used to talking with other people about their traumas. Like, I spoke at CBU, like it's a big college here where I'm from, but and I've helped a lot of people, but it's different talking about your own trauma no matter what, right? And because I love I still do love them, but we're just different, and that's the thing. Like, I love them, but we're not the same. I love them, right? They don't. Anyways, okay, so then I have a baby, right? And then with this human, and then he's very abusive, physically, like all the abuses, financial abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. I was used to that, right? But it was better, right? Because, why? Because they seemed to have more things that we didn't have, like more money and all that. So I thought. But, you talk yourself into getting out of where you're from, however that looks like. But so then once we had our son, we stayed with my mom for a little while, and then we moved to his family's house. And then while I was still pregnant, though, we were staying there a lot. And this should have been my first red flag, but it wasn't. Okay, so I was pregnant, like severely pregnant, like about to give birth to this first baby, and I was like only a little, like I was like 17, And then so I was eating salad on the couch, and then the father of, okay, so my ex-in-law, right? So the father of my partners at the time, yeah, his father. So my son's grandfather came home raging or something about work or I don't know what. And so he came home and saw me eating on the couch, which everybody did. So this is confusing. Like, abuse is really confusing when it makes, like, no sense. But, so he saw me eating on the couch and then got really mad. And I recognized it that he was really mad. I thought he must be joking. Like, why are you so furious over me just eating on the couch because everybody eats on the couch? Like, I don't... So I really thought he was joking. And then, no. Because he then grabbed a really large size, like, Costco size. Like, I don't know if they have Costco where you're from, but, like, the biggest bottle of ranch, like full bottle of ranch dressing, like Hidden Valley, like it's a salad dressing, big bottle, that's heavy, and he just threw it right at me. Yeah, right at me. And I was pregnant, like I was 9 months pregnant, and a 17-year-old eating salad on the couch. And nothing, yeah. Okay. So then that's just an incident, right? Like when I was pregnant, that should have been a red flag, but no. So then, because it's so shocking at the time. And then so my stories are going to make sense. Just be patient, because I'm trying to share the dynamics and what keeps abuse happening in families, right? That's the goal here, right? I still love these humans, right? They're human. I love all humans, but they're distorted and they're not of light right now. Yeah. I don't really remember the first time my ex-husband was physically abusive. I was so used to abuse. But I do know he would never hit me in my face. Like, I think he's smart enough for that. He would always hit me, like, in my legs, in my stomach, in my arms, like, right? So there was this one incident. It was kind of severe because there was witnesses, and this is what I'm talking about keeping how abuse continues, like how it is in families and how it stays in families. So there was this one incident when it was like early in the morning. It must have been like, I don't know, in the middle of the night when my son used to have like croup a lot. He has like breathing issues. And so we would have to take him outside into the cold air in the middle of the night, right? To help him breathe. And during one of these times, my ex-partner got really, like, I guess, overwhelmed with what was happening and wasn't taught the proper how to handle that. So he just was taught to put it on somebody else, right? So that's what he was doing. And so at that time, and then I have a witness, I almost said her name. Child, no. I ain't trying to do that. Baby girl. Okay, so his sister, my best friend, I thought, like, anyways, she saw this happening. So we were outside, and I guess my son was inside because I wasn't carrying, or I think I might have been carrying him. Yes, I was. That's what happened. I was holding my son outside, and then my partner got mad and came at me and started hitting me with my son in my hand. And I think she came out, his sister came out and grabbed the baby and started yelling at him too, because he had me on the floor. He knocked me on the floor and was kneeing my stomach and just kicking me, and I was on the floor already at this point. And she was just screaming at him, and she was like, I'm gonna call the cops. Like, she didn't do anything, obviously. But, yeah, because she was taught to shut, too. And I'll get into that weird. I'm so grateful for this knowledge, though. Like, they were great. But yes, how the women are told to not talk about it and don't say anything, look the other way, and like it's repeated, and like that's what I would just want to let y'all know. When you do that, you're teaching your daughters not to say anything when they're abused. So let me just not put that karma on you, but that what goes around will come around. With love, what do you think is going to happen with that when you teach your daughters not to speak up? I'm gonna just say that with love. Okay, so then, so that was the first, like one of the major ones, because he's been doing stuff before that, but this was like the major one where it was like I could tell he couldn't stop, like he kept going and going, like bro, I was on the floor, and he kept kneeing me and kicking me, and then so then after that we went inside and I don't know, we went to bed or I don't know, that's just one incident. And then, so, nothing ever came of that. And then, and then I'm going to flash to, later down the road, when I was, like, jumped to, like, I don't know, like 20 years later, right? Yeah, almost. A long time, talking a long time later. I re-involved myself with these people because me and my ex were like, so we got divorced. And so I had to step away because I noticed these people weren't writing for me. Like, I was like, what? So I had to back away. And they trying to drop me anyways. But anyways, I went through like a healing crisis when we got divorced too. And the way they handled that showed me who they were too, and how they continue to. So after that happened, I had like after we got divorced, because the way he did it was so traumatic for us, because he was the one that took care of us, like, right? He paid the bill. He was financially abusive. So when he left, he just left. He bounced and literally like went down the street. That's how weird it was. Like, and then act like we didn't exist. And like, I was I was just dropped from everyone. Nobody was helping. So not that it's not their responsibility. I'm just telling you like the stories, and like, yeah, it's my responsibility to stay with that or not. Okay, so then I re-involved myself with these people. And then after after my healing crisis, during it involved me drinking heavily, right? Because like I wasn't equipped to handle that pain. And then I didn't understand it. And why nobody was helping and or doing anything. Like, they were just like, it really showed me who was around me. And so I got myself out of that, obviously, with no, anyways, that's not the point of this. Okay, so then, yeah, so, flash forward to when I involved myself with these people. We're sitting at a table, right? And my ex-partner's dad has, like, this business part. He's like a broker, right? And so he has like a lot of business people that he has to entertain. And so he had this one, I almost said his name too, but he's a nice one. Okay. We were all sitting outside one time at dinner, and one of his business friends were there, right? And so please be patient. I'm trying to do this with grace and respect for these humans, right? But I know their viciousness and their neglect. so we were sitting at dinner, and this man, who's stranger to me, really, I met him. He went to like our wedding, and I know him in passing, like as a business friend of my in-law, right? Not too close. So we were sitting, and he was like, "I just want to say I'm proud of you. You were really down for a minute. That was crazy, right? And you got yourself out." I was like in shock, almost as shocking as the abuse. I was like, "Yes, thank you for the acknowledgement. You see me? You see me? Thank you." Because when I connected with these people, they didn't say anything about nothing. They didn't talk. And that is the part of the abuse, is nobody talks about it, right? And that's why I have to. But it's for myself, like, and you all. And it's my mission. So then I was like, bro, yes. Like, I didn't know how to, I was like, oh my God, yes, thank you. What? You see me, bro. Thanks. That's nice. And that's the first time anyone's ever said they were proud of me ever in my whole life. I was like, how old was I then? Like 30. I don't know. I was pretty up there. And I've never heard that before from like someone cool. Like, so then. And then everybody, though, at the table, everybody else just ignored it and completely ignored it, right? And so I was like, okay, noted. Kept eating my little purple potato, as I do. And then, cue to like a couple of weeks later, maybe, or like a week later, my best friend, right, my ex-partner's sister, was... we were like sitting by the fire in her house, and she brought it up. Actually, I was like, "Oh, good, you speak." She said that would, but then she spoke. She's like, "Oh, that was so weird, right? Like how he brought that up." And I said, "No. Matter of fact, why haven't you brought it up?" Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, no, it wasn't weird. I liked it, actually. And she's like, "Oh, that's so weird." I'm like, "No, I don't think so." And then it just kind of ended there. Because what is that? What is that? Ask yourself, bruh. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, they're just so hushed. Like, I don't know. It's like crazy, bro. But like I said, what you allow in your life is gonna come back to you. So anyways, yeah, so I had to step away from them again. Oops. My fault. I needed another lesson. So, but that's not when I started stepping away from them. Still, because a bit is, I love humanity, and I just like, bro, I can see you almost get like, but you're light. You can choose. Anyway. I think that was just me projecting my light onto them. Like, that's not who they were. Which is fine. We're just different. Contrasting energies serve a purpose. But, and I'm not going to edit these, like, so you could just skip if I take a water and you don't have patience. But, so I had to step away, though, because it was affecting my children, too. They were still abusing them. Okay. Yeah. So that's when I was like, because I noted, like, used to cut myself too, like, from the abuse when I was little. Mainly from the puppet master and my mom. But it's not just the abuse, though. It's about what people do with the abuse. It's like, that's the crazy part. It's like when you know other people know about the abuse but don't do anything, what is that? That is out of hand for me. Because you're just an abuser, aren't you? Like, if you're not, then what is that? You let me know. If you're watching somebody get abused repeatedly and you don't say anything, like, what is that? Are you scared that your money's gonna get off? Why are you scared not to stand up? Yeah. Okay. And that's a lot of the abuse that happened to me was financial. And physical. I mean, all of them, but the more dangerous one is financial, because then they got you, right? Yeah. So when I noticed that this man, my ex-partner's dad, was still abusing my children, like, and I have it, like, on my Instagram. You can see, like, my other stories and stuff. I don't really do Instagram anymore, so I got off that, but it's still up there. It's Kristen Julia Vibes. Kristen Julia Vibes. Yeah. On Instagram, but yeah, so I have all this, I have recordings of this, right? I have proof of this, some things, right? But I noticed my children were getting severe anxiety when they would go see these people. And that's a sign. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what is going on? And then, so my ex's father would be verbally, because he's, like, older now, so their abuse changes. When they're not physically stronger than you, then they change it. It can be more, it shifts into more psychological or financial or whatever. So he would, like, call my son, which was he's an adult, and would just abuse him for not, like, he's 18, like, right? He's not 18 now, but at the time when I had to step away from these people, he was 18, and he would call him, and then leave abusive voicemails, which legally I'm allowed to play those because you left a voicemail. I didn't record you without you knowing you left that message. Right. Because I'm trying to do this legally too. I don't want no smoke. But anyways. Yet. So then that's when I was like, oh, it's affecting them. My son he would just go over there and do yard work, right, for money, because I guess that's how they abuse him. Like, well, you can come over here and you can do some yard work for some money, and so I can abuse you more. But so then he would call me from over there in a panic, and I was like, okay, I would talk him through it, and then I would eventually have to be like, well, what is the pattern here? What is the pattern? You don't have anxiety when you're with me, ever. Like, check that. It's the people you're around. Your energies don't lie. If you're getting sick around someone, if you're having it, like, get itchy around someone, like, your body knows. Okay? And so that's when I had to, like, draw it back, because not only that, it's because when I started saying something about it, the people around me didn't see a problem with it. And they would excuse it. And that's what I'm saying. That's how dangerous people who... I think that's even more dangerous than the abusers, that people around them that don't say anything. What is that? I'm asking. If anyone I know they watching, probably they spying. So what is that? Like, go on one of your fake accounts. Like, what is that in your thinking? Right? Why you would protect an abuser? Unless it serves you. And then that makes you an abuser as well. Right. So, yeah. I guess that's it for today. Yeah. I'll be back with another one. Toodles, love you.